Hi, welcome back to the other episode of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. This should actually be the last episode of us working on the 32 5-window coupe, the one we call the Moncton coupe. I know I haven't been pronouncing that well. Some people thought it was a mountain coupe. It's actually Moncton because that's where the car was from. For those of you that don't know, this car started life in the 1960s as a channeled drag car. It kind of got in significant disrepair. A friend of mine bought this in Moncton, New Brunswick. There wasn't a whole lot left of it. He brought it to me along with some parts and basically a sedan cowl. And we had the back half of a 32 5-window coupe. And the plan was, and we worked on it, was to put it back together as a 32 5-window coupe, the regular height. On the inside of the car, there's actually two brackets left on the side of the side supports where it actually sat on the original frame. The owner's going to take, I don't know if he's going to leave them on or take them off, I'm not really sure. But we're at the end basically of this project. We're going to do a couple more things to it. And then throughout this video, we'll probably show you leaving here, going back to its owner. He has a chassis, an engine, drivetrain all ready to set this on. So it's going to get finished. It's just not going to get finished here. So I'm going to go through a couple of things we've got left to do onto it. One of them was to put the door checks on. So I think the camera lady can see through the door over here. The door checks are actually relatively simple. I'll just pull this off. But the door check actually connects here. I think they had studs, but when you buy these kits from United Pacific, they give you a little screw and a lock nut. So it goes through the A-pillar here. There's actually a rubber pad on this side where I'm pointing with my finger. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. It screws into place. And then there's this like rubber stopper here with a metal cup and a locking plate. It's pretty simple to put on. If you watched me actually take one of these apart on original, it's not easy to take apart. But this just slides on like that, goes forward, and this little locking piece can go right on like that. It is adjustable. There's a couple steps there, so I'm just going to leave that at the full extension, and the owner, he can adjust it accordingly. So I've got both of those on, this side and that side. This little bracket here was actually missing, so I basically had to fabricate it out of, I think I had some 14 or 16 gauge steel. I just basically bent up a couple pieces and drilled a hole into it and welded it in place. That side there was fine. Now the other thing I had to make was, I didn't know this until I looked inside of the New York coupe, because this car didn't have it. There's a wooden trim piece that goes right here. It goes above the wiper motors. So I've got that over here. I'll show you. So fortunately, on the New York coupe, he had a very good one that was on the car. One of the few pieces of wood on that car that was anyways good. There's a lot of reliefs on this. Multi-dimension that basically had to put it on the bandsaw. I was using the plane, I was using the chisel, rotor, quite a few different things to get the shape. But it's done for the Moncton coupe. And where that goes, I'm just going to put it up here. I'll put the screws into it later. But where it fits right up there. And of course, there's 4 12-24 screws that go up through here. I've already cleaned out the threads. I'll put it in place. And I think what it does, either the headliner or something, it nails to this, because on the piece here, there's a whole bunch of upholstery nails onto it. So it's not a structural piece. It's basically there for interior and stuff. Gonna finish that. And then like in the previous episode, I'll just set that down there. I'll put that in place in a few minutes. At the bottom of the B-pillars, I had to cut away part of the B-pillar wood. The B-pillar wood is not structural. It's basically there again for something to nail the upholstery to. So what I'm going to do, Here's the pieces of wood I cut out. So I'm just going to go in the shop. I'm going to make a little piece of wood to put in there. I'll use some epoxy and basically screw it in place, and then the owner will have something to put the upholstery on if he needs to. So I'll carry on with those few little things, and then we're pretty much done with what I committed to do and what the owner asked me to do on this body. He's supposed to come here tomorrow and pick it up, and we'll show you it leaving. Here it is, the final day when the 32 5-window is heading back to its owner. It's been a long time. I think it's been like close to 2 years. And out it's going.
2.5.
2.5. Okay. Let's get it. Yep. Hurt ourselves. Stop. Hi everybody, welcome to episode 5 of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. We're going to unload the 5-window coupe and put the Roadster pickup on here. We're going to shoot the whole thing, and hopefully you'll get some fun out of it. Videotape any sweeping of the floor or anything like that. Okay, I'm just gonna let you go. Hi, welcome back to Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. This episode, we're going to keep working on the 5-window coupes. We're going to start the assembly work on the rear lower tail pan. We've made a bunch of parts in previous episodes while we were building the Roadster that will ultimately go on these cars. So if you look inside here, here are some of the pieces we made. We made the rear tail pan itself. This is the lower floor extension that goes across the back. Then there's a support for the lower tail pan. And then this is the drip rail assembly. Right now I'm working on making these drip rail supports. I've made the first one. There's another piece we have to make that goes underneath this as well. I made up 4 sets, actually 3 complete sets of these drip rail supports. I have them installed on both of the coupes right now. You can see where I've spot welded in place. Originally, that's the way they were put in. They're actually spot welded to the quarter. You can see the reveal here, how it goes around the drip edge, and then how the piece of sheet metal folds into those grooves that I bead rolled it on here. So these are in place. The next step is actually to install this, and this is the rear floor pan extension. It goes underneath here. In order to get it in the right position and weld it in place, I'm going to have to assemble the rear pan, kind of put that in place, mark it, then take it off and then weld it. So here we are with the lower deck lid panel installed. To install it, there's actually 4 bolts. They're 1/4 bolts on the side here. There's 3 in the bottom, and there's 1 up here that goes through the support. The 3 in the bottom, Ford actually had a little sheet metal piece that went underneath it, kind of like a washer. So I made those up as well. So that's here underneath each side. There's the lower deck lid panel actually gets folded over this support piece, just like a door skin would. So that's been folded over. Everything's got a nice shape to it. I chucked it up against the deck lid. It's got the same curvature, just like we want. Here we are working on the back of the coupes. I've got the rear floor pan welded in. It's a support welded here to the lower deck lid. I've welded up from underneath here, so everything is all tightened in. The lower drip edge supports are welded in place, so this one's all done on the Moncton coupe. That's it, she's gone. As you just saw, the 32 Moncton coupe just left, went back to its owner. He already has it on a frame, a rolling chassis that he's prepared for it. It's about a day and a half later now, and we've cleared out this space. Before the Moncton coupe left, we did install the roof piece that goes underneath behind the windshield here. We fixed the bottom of the B-pillars. We'll insert some pictures of that, but it's all done. He's happy. He's going to go on with it. At some point in time in the future, when he's made some progress with it, we'll take some pictures or videos and show you how the project's going along. The car will be finished. He is a finisher, so no worries on that. From here forward, though, what we're going to be doing, we'll be working some on the New York Coupe. The New York Coupe is slated to go out in the fall. That's when the owner wants it finished and done. We've got a lot of pieces that we already made for the Moncton Coupe that I'll be able to put directly into the New York Coupe once I do some of the sheet metal work. But right now I want to introduce you to the next project that's going to fill this space that we've only had clear for a day and a half. It's outside here. It's a little bit different than what I'm used to. When I say a little bit different than what I'm used to, it's within my wheelhouse to work on it, but originally I thought that this was a Ford chassis when I originally talked to the owner, but this is a 1940 Plymouth chassis. It came off of a running 40 Plymouth sedan that he wanted basically the entire drivetrain upgraded on. I won't go into details right now because I'm going to cover that on the next episode. But essentially, it's here, full suspension, full drivetrain, and I guess whatever else he wants done. So that's the next project going in there. That's it for this video. Please like, share, tag, and subscribe. And of course, send me your comments and questions, and I'll be glad to answer you. Everybody have a great week, and take care. Hi, welcome back to another episode of... Sorry, turning.